we're more than one thing.
President Obama wants a freeze to please, but nobody's happy. That story topping tonight's 2-minute drill. Weighing in, our AOL Small Business Executive Editor Rod Kurtz, Lindsey Piegza of FTN Financial, and Republican strategist Angela McGlowan. Let's start the clock. President Obama, all-time high. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer one-upping the president, calling for a military pay freeze. The Government Employees Union is not happy with the president. John Gage slamming the pay freeze. He calls it a PR stunt. So if freezing federal worker pay at a record high is a gimmick, is it time to start laying off federal workers?
Oh, it certainly is. This is the most minimal step that the administration could take. And in order to rein in out-of-control government growth, we need to see not pay freezes, we need to see pay reductions. We need to see a significant reduction in the size of the public sector workforce. We need to see pension reductions. We need to see entitlement reductions. We really need to take a bigger bite out of this.
Freezing at an all-time high is not enough.
This just says it all. This president cannot catch a break, and that includes on the basketball court. I mean, he's trying to cut spending, and we're criticizing him. I think you could give a presidential...
See the close-up of his 12 stitches?
Yeah. Well, and now they're saying he talks trash. But, I mean, look, the reality is that...
I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah,
that's why somebody gave the elbow.
But,
I see.
You know, here's the bottom line is that if we're going to be honest about this, all this kind of cutting is a drop in the bucket, that it does have to be the entitlement spending and some really significant spending.
But you got to
start
somewhere.
Right, so you can't then criticize him for it.
You have to start somewhere. We have to balance this budget by any means necessary, but not just freezing the pay. We need to cut the jobs. Then we need to eliminate departments. You guys know that I'm for eliminating energy, commerce, and education. That's what you need to do.
Energy, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Okay. To Cancun, Mexico. Today, the UN's climate conference kicking off at the swanky Moon Palace Resort with cap and trade all but dead here. The co-chair of a UN climate change panel pulling no punches about their true intentions. Quote, one must say clearly that we redistribute the world's wealth by climate policy. Now, has this been President Obama's goal all along as well?
You know, I haven't seen this too widely reported, so I'm not sure what the president's view would be on something like this. You know, this quote is certainly...
We've also heard it with regard to Obamacare, by the way.
Right.
That's what redistribution, that's what it's all about, is redistributing the wealth. His chief medical czar said that.
I would have to have a better sense of the context of what this guy, you know, was a German official who I don't know was involved in the UN, so I'm not entirely sure what he was getting at, but, you know, it does raise...
But is this... Do you think, I mean, we've seen it in tax policy.
Yes.
We've seen it in cap and trade. We see it now with regard to other policies as well. Obamacare, redistribution of wealth.
It's not going to work. It hasn't worked. Capitalism works. What we need to do, David, is move back to policies. If we want to give tax credits, let's give companies like clean coal technology companies or other companies that do right by the climate, give them tax credits.
I think what this shows is there's more holes in climate policy than there are in the ozone layer. And what this does is underlines and highlights...
But you admitted there are holes in the ozone layer.
The political and financial motivation to climate policy. And of course, this is just a global form of wealth redistribution.
All right. Well, sales of luxury items like jewelry and watches perking up Cyber Monday sales. Early reads indicate it could be the biggest online selling day ever, topping $1 billion for the first time. Bling is back, and that is a good thing. But states looking for ways to tax online shopping, and the biggest tax hike in history is looming right around the corner. So are shoppers scooping up the sales before a possible tax hike in 2011?
I think people are scared.
I'm looking at your bling right now.
And I love bling, a lot of bling. I think people are scared, and I think that they are trying to get as many deals as they can because they don't know what's going to happen in 2011. So I think what they're doing is going online. I mean, look, it was up 33% on Thanksgiving Day, shopping online. Black Friday was up. Cyber Monday's up today, so yeah.
But something else is up, which is inflation, and people want to spend their dollars before they feel they're inflated out of value.
Well, that's a good point, too. And also, you have to remember that we're coming off of a very low level. Remember, last Christmas season and 2008 were some of the worst years ever. So we are bouncing off of a very, very low level. But consumers are still hurting. They're looking for bargains. They're looking for tax reductions offered by online retailers.
I think there is. You have heard a lot of people talk about sort of savings fatigue at this point. They said this year, you know, even though things may not
savings fatigue,
we still want to get
savings fatigue
but
too.
The fascinating thing with online shopping is that I think at this point it really has become more about the deals that you can get, that you can browse around more easily, and the fact that it's just easier to do. So I don't, the tax issue is.
And I don't want to seem like goody two shoes here, but please, if you're spending, don't forget the charities. I mean, if you're spending your money, you got a lot of charities out there that are hurting. They may not be getting the tax deductions in the future either. More on that to come. Coming up on deck,